How did I miss this? The government wants to make it that you cannot buy junk food with your food stamp. La! The hefties will raise hell. The roly-poly-oly's gonna roll. I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself on this, and y'all tell me what you think. House Bill 279. They want this everywhere. Make you unable to buy junk on your stamp card. 1. Energy drinks. Lord, how Earl gonna make it. 2. Cookies, candy bars, ice cream, cakes and pies. No! They taking Carl Wayne's Christmas tree cakes. Tater chips. Not Tatiana's tater chips. No! And soft drink. Not to pop! What's Patricia Gale gonna do if she can't buy the pop? She already standing in line for 4 hours to get 47 cartons. Turn around and sell it for twice the price. She can buy her cigarettes. What's she gonna do now? What y'all think about this? I got thoughts. Do you agree with the government telling people what they can and can't buy? It's on taxpayer dime. Should they have free reign? Is this a step into making America healthy again? Maha. Little fact for you. 1 in 2 Americans either has diabetes or at risk for diabetes. Last recorded in 2022, $27 billion was paid for with stamps to buy junk food. Do you like this idea? Or do you totally hate it and think it's government overreach? I'll wait.
If you're using food stamps, you will no longer be able to buy junk food like sodas, chips, or anything unhealthy. It is going to be banned completely in the United States. The US government is looking for ways around this where they can ban it. So it's most likely going to happen following the Health Secretary RFK Jr.'s confirmation. This man confirmed that he is trying to get it banned. So if you are on food stamps, for the people that are less fortunate and the people that cannot afford to live, they are going to be basically taking away your freedom of choosing what you can buy. Now, I understand healthy food is good, and I agree, but some people can't afford that. Like, if you're only getting a certain budget, and also the healthy stuff costs even more than the junk food, and it's sad that that's gotta be. The comments are literally all over the place. A lot of people are saying, oh, that sucks, that's sad. Some people are saying they deserve it, and they should be ashamed. I don't think we should shame anyone using food stamps or having to live off the government because they can't afford to live because the wages are too low and the food is too high. What do you think of the comments down below of this?
Hey, RFK. First of all, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you, my guy. So we now have a pissed off population of people using food stamps who are not very happy, okay? Because you're telling them how to eat. And in all reality, I find it really hard for a group of people who has a free plastic card with free plastic money for free food for them and their families to be able to complain about anything, you know, but that's just me. I'd love to make an addition to this already. Oh, no sugary sweets and soda with your SNAP benefits. Can we please stop advertising food stamps on television commercials, please? Here's why, okay? So we went from the thought of when you need them, they are here for you, and it's okay. 2, hey, look, we're going to pay for everything for all of you and your family, and you can get whatever the fuck you want. That's the mentality that America's at today. All the benefit users of the system are now pissed off because they ain't getting what they've been getting because they've been spoiled fucking rotten. Tell you all the truth. At least a good fourth of you never should have fucking received any of them goddamn fucking benefits anyway. You went from a system who is here to help and pick up individuals when in need, not as a permanent way of motherfucking living, you motherfuckers. You guys done did it. You used and abused the system, and now, terminate the fucking system. Done. Let's build this shit back up for exactly who the fuck it's intended for. Not your permanent life living situation. Not because you've had 20 fucking kids when you shouldn't have. Not because you're too lazy to motherfucking go out and do what the fuck you're supposed to do. You all can flop from now on.
50 million American people live on food stamp. The Trump administration is planning to ban all junk food, all sugary drinks that people are using food stamp to buy. So going further, people will not be able to use their food stamp to get junk food and Coca-Cola no more. You want to drink Coke? Use your money. You want to eat your McDonald's, your fries? Use your money. So now, going further, your junk food, you cannot buy with food stamp. Your junk drink, you can't buy with food stamp. Use your own money. What do you think about that? Is Trump trying to help the American people for them to be healthy? Let me see your comments.
There's a bunch of obese people on this app losing their shit because President Trump, along with RFK Jr., wants to eliminate the purchase of junk food with food stamps. And that's a good thing. Look, if you want to feed that crap to your kids, you need to do it on your own dime, not the American taxpayers' dime. We're not here to help your children get diabetes. I went to pick up my daughter from school yesterday, and 80% of the kids that were leaving school were morbidly obese. I'm fucking Gen X. We didn't see any of that shit. Everybody was healthy. Everybody was fit. We need to nip this shit in the butt. Now it's a health crisis, and you shouldn't want to give that shit to your kids anyway. It is deadly.
So now people that receive EBT and food stamps are not going to be allowed to buy junk food with EBT or food stamps? I seen something that stated that the Trump administration was stopping people who receive EBT or food stamps to stop buying any junk food or high processed food items with their EBT and food stamps. And if they are going to put this rule in place, they just need to decrease the price of healthy foods, okay? Because healthy foods are so high. That's why people shop and buy things that they can afford, aka junk food and high processed foods, because they are trying to make their food stamps benefits stretch the whole month. So towards the end of the month, the kids might be eating oodles and noodles or TV dinners or whatever else or sandwiches with chips, because guess what? Or hot dogs and burgers, because guess what? It is just high. Stuff is high. So you're trying to stretch your food stamps towards the end of the month to make them last. Because anybody who have received food stamps before, which is me, I've received them before, know that those food stamps benefits does not last the whole month. And we all know that that bag of vegetables is $10 or the price of eggs at this point. Okay? It's like $12 for a carton of eggs. Listen, decrease the price of healthy foods so that people can actually afford to buy them.
What's your reaction to this possibility? Do you think this is a good or a bad idea?
You know, Anna, one of the things as a cardiologist that we've been incredibly concerned about is the burgeoning obesity in this country, diabetes, hypertension. All of those are risk factors that do what? Lead to cardiovascular disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans. It's the #1 killer of women. And so we've been very concerned about why this continues to be the #1 killer. Certainly, food is a big part of it. And we know that 80% of all heart disease is actually preventable. It's not genetic.
Well, some would say, you know, this sounds really insensitive, that they're not going to let people who are on food stamps be able to buy the food that they want to eat. But can you talk a little bit about how things have changed in our history? I've studied community health when I was in college, and you know, back in the day, it used to be that when you were poor, you couldn't get enough to eat. And now when you're poor, very often, because the foods are so, you know, high in calories but low in actual nutrients, there's an obesity problem for people who are in poverty.
And you know, Anna, you're absolutely correct. There are two sides to that coin. People still don't get enough to eat. They're getting empty calorie foods that are not nutrient dense. And when we look at both sides of that coin, very well intended. However, there are still people, especially those in rural America and some areas on the margins of urban America, that are in these food deserts, and you really only have access to what is available to you. We have to remember that 25% of people that are utilizing food stamps are disabled, another 20% are elderly, 40% are children. So we have to take into account all of these things. Additionally, this is actually being used as money, and fruits and vegetables are so much more expensive than cheap food. And so that still doesn't correct for how are you going to have enough food stamps to buy these fresh items. And so all of that it seems to still need to be worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like right now it's just an idea. It's just something that's sort of being proposed and getting hammered out. But you're right. Something ought to be done in tandem as well to try to help these folks get fruits and vegetables and make them accessible and not so doggone expensive. Maybe they can pair with local farmers or something and help out them, because we know our farmers need some help too. RFK Jr., the newly confirmed Secretary of Health and Human Services, has been highly critical of vaccines and the health of Americans, having this to say. Listen.
We literally have the sickest population in the world. Those are the people that got us there. We do need a break. We need somebody different who can come in and say, I'm going to be a disruptor. I'm not going to let the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry run health policy anymore.
So when you look at the numbers and everything that you know as a doctor, do you agree with RFK Jr. that America has the sickest population in the world when it comes to developed nations?
And so that depends on how you slice it. That's a little bit of hyperbole. We are a very westernized nation, and our sickness is very different from other countries who are sick with all types of diseases. We are sort of sick with an overabundance. So it's difficult to compare apples to oranges. But I will say this. Heart disease remains the #1 killer of Americans, and a lot of that is a self-inflicted wound. It is how we live, how we are developing our food chains, how we're utilizing those food chains, and that is something that actually does. We need to take a very close look at that and see what can be done. Because as you rightly stated in your study of community health, it seems that in the past people didn't have enough food, but actually that's what's happening. It's a smokescreen. We don't have enough food. We're having empty calories, and that keeps you continuing to eat and graze on more and more and more processed and non-nutritional foods.
Yeah, and we got to get in the school cafeterias too to teach them young how to eat. And I could talk about that forever. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.